Hare Krishna. We continue reading from Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 4, Transcendental Knowledge, text 30. Sarve api ete yagyavido yagyashapita kalmasaha yagyashishtamrita bhujo yanti brahma sanatanam. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. All these performers who know the meaning of sacrifice become cleansed of sinful reactions, and having tasted the nectar of the results of sacrifices, they advance toward the supreme eternal atmosphere. So we have been reading how Krishna is telling Arjuna there are different types of sacrifices which people perform, and how they are what they are sacrificing. And then what's happening as they're performing the sacrifices, Krishna is telling here, they become purified, cleansed of sinful reactions, and then gradually then they're advancing to spiritual life, eternal, supreme eternal atmosphere. That's the spiritual world. Supreme eternal atmosphere. The spiritual world is eternal, not temporary. It's not made up of matter. It's not illusion. It's not temporary. It's permanent. From the foregoing explanation of different types of sacrifice, namely sacrifice of one's possession, study of the Vedas or philosophical doctrines, and performance of the yoga system, it is found that the common aim of all is to control the senses. So why different types of people are performing these different sacrifices? Someone is sacrificing the material possessions, yeah, so what they have gotten physically, like the material things, sacrifice that, or sacrificing the time, the energy by studying the Vedas, or some are trying to understand philosophically all the different theories, the different doctrines, or someone is sacrificing by doing yoga. But what is the aim? To control the senses. Control the senses. Sense gratification is the root cause of material existence. Therefore, unless and until one is situated on a platform apart from sense gratification, there is no chance of being elevated to the eternal platform of full knowledge, full bliss, and full life. So what is Krishna saying? What is Prabhupada saying is, now why all these people are sacrificing? Why? Because they want to control the senses. Why? Why does the sense of control? Why do the senses have to be controlled? Because sense gratification is the root cause of material existence. That is what is keeping us here in this material world. We are the soul, but yet because we are still wanting to enjoy the senses, that's what's keeping us here in the material world. And so then it said, unless and until one is situated on a platform apart from sense gratification, there is no chance to be elevated to the eternal platform of full knowledge, full bliss, and full of life. So the spiritual platform, the liberated platform, that the eternal platform. What is that? Over there, there is no ignorance. It's full of knowledge, full happiness, and full eternal, no death, always exists, not temporary. So now, how do we have to come here? We have to separate ourselves from the senses. We are thinking, oh, what I have to do is just gratify my senses. That's what's keeping me here. So this platform is the eternal atmosphere or Brahman atmosphere. Brahman atmosphere, that's the point of liberation. This is the point of liberation. Sat Chit Ananda. Satchidananda. So everyone is sacrificing different things to come to this liberated platform, Satchidananda platform. All the above mentioned sacrifices help one to become cleansed of the sinful reactions of material existence. So the persons, they are engaged in various sacrifices. Why? To be able to control the senses. And in that, what's happening? Getting purified of the sins. We are carrying a lot of karma from millions and gazillions of lives, So, but by engaging in sacrifices, what happens? Gradually, we are getting purified of the sins, purified. By this advancement in life, not only does one become happy and opulent in this life, but also at the end, he enters into the eternal kingdom of God, either merging into the impersonal Brahman or associating with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. So what happens when one is continuing to engage in sacrifice? What is happening? The person is getting purified. And what does it mean? Means that, so then two things are happening. In this life, till the time the soul is in the material world, inside the material body, he has a happy, opulent situation. He's able to live happily, peacefully. And at the end of this, after giving up this body, then what happens to the soul? He's able to enter into the kingdom of God, eternal kingdom of God, which always exists, full of happiness, full of knowledge, and full of bliss. And in the eternal kingdom of God, he can either enter into the Brahma Jyoti, the divine light, or he can enter into one of the spiritual planets, the Vaikuntha planets, and associate there with the personality of Godhead, Krishna. So this is how the eternal kingdom of God is. It's eternal. It's full of life, full of knowledge, and full of bliss. There's no birth, death, old age, disease, no anxiety, no fear, no envy. It's free from envy. And this is what the goal is in human life, to try to understand about the eternal kingdom of God and enter there. What is there? Either merge into the impersonal Brahman or associate with the personality of Godhead. And at the same time, become happy in this life, become opulent in this life. How? By performing sacrifice. By performing sacrifice. And the sacrifice which is recommended, the most easiest sacrifice which we are able to do in this Kali Yuga is the sacrifice of the chanting of the holy names. Kali Yuga Dharma Harinam Sankirtan. The Sankirtan Yagya, sacrifice of the chanting of the holy names, is the easiest and the recommended process which is given to us in Kali Yuga, so that we can enter into the spiritual world, into the spiritual atmosphere, into the eternal kingdom of God, where there is, where everything is full of knowledge, full of bliss, and full of life. There's no birth, no death, no disease, no old age, no anxiety, no fear, no envy. No, it's just full of knowledge, bliss, and full of life. And how can we attain that in Kali Yuga? Simply by chanting the holy names, simply by hearing and chanting, hearing from Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, and chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. We can get liberated from this material world and go back home, back to Godhead. Is that okay? So we'll stop here for today. Thank you so much for listening in and joining in. Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Shilpa Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Premanande, Hari Bol, Hare Krishna.